Hi, my name is Jarda Sokup, and I'm a consultant at Brno Expat Centre. We are a public service supported by the city of Brno, and we help international professionals working and living in Brno. Today, we invited an attorney, Katerina Hájková, from HW Legal to help us explain the energy payment system from billing structures to what you're really paying for and what might trouble you. Katerina, welcome.
Hello, and thank you for having me here today.
Sure. Today, we're here to talk about what all is meant by utilities in the Czech context and what payment options are available. We will also talk about overpayments and underpayments and what they mean for the landlord and for you, the tenants, and what these parties' obligations are. Finally, we will focus on most pressing issues connected to paying for these utilities and how to avoid them or solve them most effectively. Feel free to ask questions anytime throughout the webinar. Write them down in the comments. We'll go through them once we're finished with the prepared explanation. If you want to ask anonymously, go to the swipe yard link in the comments where you can type your questions under a nickname. In the past 5 years, we've recorded over 30 webinars. You can find their recordings on our Facebook page and soon on YouTube. This webinar is also being recorded. After we finish, it will be automatically available on YouTube. Search for Brno Expat Centre. So, without further ado, let's start. Katerina, please tell our viewers what is meant by utilities in the Czech Republic.
It is simple. In addition to the rent, you, tenants, pay for utilities related to the use of the flat. As a rule, you discuss with your landlord what utilities they provide to you and what you pay for, but typically they are electricity, heat supply, water supply and wastewater disposal, lift operation, illumination and cleaning of common areas in the house, enabling the reception of radio and television signals, operation and cleaning of chimneys, and removal of municipal waste.
Okay, and how is it possible to pay for the utilities? What are the options?
So basically, there are two options. You pay for the utilities either in a lump sum or by advance payments. So lump sum payments are simpler. You can pay one monthly amount, including the rent and the lump sum payment for some utilities or all of them. Or the amount for all the services can be included in one lump sum and the rent is separate. Lump sum payments for services mean that the landlord does not have to prepare a settlement of the payments received at the end of the accounting period or at the end of tenancy, nor establish the total consumption, calculate the final price of each service to learn if there is overpayment or underpayment. Basically, there is just a lump sum and the landlord does not have to prepare utilities bills. This has a limitation, though, for the leases that are longer than 2 years or that are for indefinite period. So the lump sum cannot include the payment of the heat supply, the water supply, or the disposal of the wastewater. Also, what is important, if the lump sum payment amount needs to be changed, it is necessary that there is both the consent of you and the landlord. You both need to agree. Or at least you have to have some pre-agreed mechanism of valorization of the lump sum agreed. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then advance payments are the other option in contrast to the lump sum payments. Advance payments consist of paying monthly advances for each service. The amount of the advance is usually agreed in the rental contract first. However, the landlord can unilaterally change the amount of the advance payment if the price of the service, for example, rises or if the consumption changes. Beware that your consent is not necessary for the change of the advance payment. The landlord may demand the change amount of utilities advance payment for the utilities no sooner than from the first day of the month following the delivery of written notification of the new amount of the advance to you. So basically, if the landlord notifies you that the advance payment is going to be higher, then you need to pay the higher amount of the advance from the next month. But the change in the amount of monthly advance payment must be justified in the notification. So the landlord needs to provide the reason why there is the rise in the advance payments. Otherwise, the increase in the advance payment does not take place. Advance payments are paid by you throughout the billing period. The billing period lasts for a maximum of 12 months. And it starts by a day which is determined by the landlord or in the lease agreement typically. In most cases, the billing period is 1 calendar year from the beginning till the end of the calendar year. Within 4 months after the end of the billing period, which is typically but not necessarily by the end of April of the following year, the landlord delivers a bill, utilities bill, to you. This utilities bill must include the actual costs of the utilities broken down by the specific types of the utilities with all the necessary details included, and the total amount of the monthly advances that the landlord received from you. Both must be done in a way that the differences in the billing are obvious and verifiable, so you need to know how much you paid and how much you consumed.
All right. And what if there are some differences? I expect that they are common.
Yeah.
So what do they mean for our viewers, the tenants, and the landlord?
So you're right, they are common. The billing will typically result in either overpayment, because of which the landlord has to return part of the advance payments received from you, or underpayment, because of which, on the other hand, you have to pay for the amount of services which you consumed above the advance payments. So it actually happens rarely that the advance payments are equal to the consumption. The overpayment or the underpayment has to be paid within an agreed period of time, but if you do not agree on any specific deadline for the payment, for the underpayment or overpayment, then it has to be paid within 4 months after the date that you received the bill. And the same rules apply also after the end of the lease. Yeah, so the landlord must deliver to you the utilities bill within 4 months after the end of the billing period, which may lead to some time delays. It always depends when your lease ended. The amount of consumption is based on the energy meters at the time of takeover and the handover of the flat. Therefore, you must be careful when you're taking over the apartment at the start of the lease and handing over the apartment at the end of the lease to the landlord. And I suggest that you make sure that the values on the energy meters are correctly recorded in the handover protocols, because it also affects the amounts that you have to pay for the utilities.
This sounds like there can be problems, even if only thanks to misunderstandings. So from your practice, do you know about some typical issues, some typical ones?
Yeah, of course, there are issues, and usually they are either improper billing with defects submitted by the landlord, or late submission of the utilities bill, or actually no billing at all. Those are among the most common.
Okay. Can you tell me more about those, please?
Yeah, so let's start with the defective utilities bills. I often see cases in practice where the landlord only communicates the final number. For example, he says, you need to pay me 10,000 Czech crowns because you have electricity underpayment for the last year. So this is not sufficient. If landlord delivers an insufficient utility bill to you, any underpayment, no underpayment becomes payable. Yeah. If you do not find the utilities bill correct, for example, the consumption is too high, or you think that the prices of the utilities are not correct, then you have the option. You can ask the landlord to in writing always, within 30 days of receiving the bill, to present the documents supporting the utilities bill. So documents showing the costs of the individual services, the method of the calculation of the services, the method of determining the amount of the advance payments for the services, and the supporting documents for the execution of the utilities bill. Your landlord also must allow you to obtain copies of these documents, and he needs to comply within 30 days after your petition. And you can use then these documents to object against the utilities bill. You can object within 30 days of receiving the documents or the utilities bill, and then the landlord again has 30 days to deal with your objections after receiving them. If you received a formally correct utilities bill and you do not object in time, then you are believed to have accepted the utilities bill, both in the manner and content of the bill. So this is why it is very much necessary to object if you do not feel that the utilities bill is correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Apart from this, it often happens that the landlord delivers the bill after the legal deadline. Sometimes it is because the utilities suppliers or the homeowners association also deliver the utilities bill late, typically during May. And then the landlord, of course, finds it quite difficult to provide the bill in time. However, according to the law, the landlord should pay a late utilities bill penalty to you for each day of when the bill is late. Yeah, so the amount is established at 50 crowns per day by the law, and this is valid if you do not agree with the landlord on a lower amount of penalty. Yeah, usually there is no agreement on the lower penalty.
Sure.
Lastly, what happens also quite often is that the landlord does not deliver any utility bill at all. So your defense in this case is to ask the landlord to submit the bills for the billing periods for which they have not been delivered at all. And at the same time, you can ask or you can claim the penalty for the late utilities bills for the entire period of the missing bills for each of the year, each of the bills separately. Just beware that the right to pay penalty is time barred 3 years back. Yeah. And I would also point out, don't forget that the utility payments, which are done in lump sums, for this, the landlord does not have to provide you with any utilities bill. So there can be no penalty.
Okay, all right. And maybe do tenants have any obligations?
Yeah. Yes. Tenants have obligations too. You have obligations related to the utilities. For example, if the number of people living in the apartment changes, then you have to notify this change to the landlord. You have to do it in writing and without any undue delay, so within a few days from the change of number of persons living in the apartment. This is because the number of the persons is important for the amount of advance payments and the calculation of services. Also, sometimes it happens that the utilities are written in your own name, not in the landlord's, and you have to pay them directly to the utility suppliers. These utility suppliers, however, have the same obligation as landlords.
All right. And tell me, from your practice, how often do you solve the disputes between the landlords and tenants?
These cases are quite frequent, but in most cases it is not necessary to go to a court. We usually manage to settle them out of court. If you yourself need help, then let Jarda know and he will resend you my contact information.
Yeah, definitely. All right, now we've reached the end of our prepared explanation. And do you have any questions? Please write them down in the comments and we'll read them one by one. All right. Matthew writes, I just finished a rental contract with my landlord last month, and in the rental contract, the utilities and rent are separate, and the gas and electricity is in my name, so I was paying for the utilities separately. I would like to ask if it's better that the utilities are taken care of the landlord compared to letting the tenants pay the utilities. What do you say?
So the question is whether it is better to have the utilities
Mm.
written in your name, or whether it is better to have the landlord as the provider of the utilities. It depends. It depends, because either you are communicating about your consumption and about your utilities bill directly with the providers, which are institutions. So usually they give you the correct information, they give you the correct records of consumption, or whether you are communicating with the landlord, who might be a person who does not have so much experience with this, so there might be some mistakes and some misunderstandings maybe. So I would say that it is better to have the utilities written in your name.
Okay.
Yeah. If you have the chance, but of course then you are responsible for dealing with the I don't know, utilities providers. Yeah.
All right, and Matthew continues. Also, it was weird because I wasn't a permanent resident yet, and I'm a non-EU also. I read and heard that a landlord cannot transfer the billing name to a tenant who doesn't have a permanent residence yet. Is it true? Do you know?
I'm not sure about this, but like basically I cannot see the obstacle for this. Yeah, it is possible that the utilities or some utilities providers have their own rules for who they want to have contracts with, and maybe they have their own rules if they want to, if they want or do not want to have a non-EU citizen on the other side of the contract. Yeah, but I wouldn't say that it is generally a problem. Yeah.
Okay. Joseph Heinen, sorry if I butchered your name, is asking, what is the distribution charge for electricity, and should it be communicated in the electricity contract?
In the electricity contract, as a consumer, you need to know about all the charges and all the costs that are related to the provision of electricity. So yes, you will always need to know the whole amount which you are supposed to be paying. Okay. Yeah. The distribution charge, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much it is now. Yeah. It's changing also. Yeah.
Okay. E. Rajeshkaran Nicodemus. Last year, I got water bill for calendar year 2023 at August 2024. Is this common timeline, or the bill was delayed and not reliable for late payment?
This is not common, and if of course it depends whether the billing period was one calendar year. It is usual, but it can be different, and I suggest that you check your rental contract in which this information should be. But if the billing period was one calendar year, then the landlord was supposed to give you the water bill as well as all the other utilities bills until the end of the April 2024. If he did it later, then you are most likely entitled to late utilities bill penalty.
All right. We have no more questions so far. No worries. We'll give you a moment to type. Meanwhile, Katerina, I myself have a few more questions. So what would you say the most common issue from those three you were speaking about? What is the most common one? And also, how long can it take to solve the dispute at the court, if it goes there?
Yeah. So most usually I am dealing with the case when the landlord did not give the tenant utilities bills at all. So this is the most common problem. And so a dispute at the court takes around 1 year. That's average time of the court proceedings in the Czech Republic, but it often the matter often gets solved during the court proceedings out of court, so amicable solution, even though the court proceedings was initiated.
Okay. All right. Seems that we have done everything so great. Everything is clear. All right. Maybe we have some thrilling, isn't it? It's like, will it come or not? All right. Rajasekar, it was 1 calendar year. Can I claim the late payment charge now? And what is the process? We shifted the house last year and new living in a new apartment.
Yeah, so basically you need to calculate the penalty. It is 50 crowns per day, and it starts your claim for the penalty starts on the 1st of May 2024. It was for the year 2023. So the default starts by the 1st May 2024, and the end is the day when you received the utilities bill. And all between that, the time between that, multiplied by 50 crowns per day, is the final amount of the penalty which you are entitled to. Yeah.
All right. Joseph is asking if he can change electricity supplier anytime.
Well, there are some limits to the changes of electricity suppliers. I'm not sure, but I suppose that it is 1 year that you can change the electricity supplier each year. And you also need to respect the contract between you and the electricity supplier. So I suggest that you check the contract with your current electricity supplier. For example, you find there that you need to terminate the electricity supply contract 1 year ahead, or it ends within 12 months. And so this is the process of stopping one supplier and starting with a new one.
All right. Okay. So there are no more comments as of now. So Katerina, thank you very much. It was great.
Too.
Definitely.
Thank you.
And thanks to you for watching. I hope that you have enjoyed it and you have learned something new. And of course, if anything, let us know, and we'll be happy to help you as much as we can. All right. Have a nice rest of the day. Have a nice time, and see you in one of our other webinars or maybe some other events. See you.
Thank you for attention.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you and have a nice time. Bye-bye.
Bye.